moved you to write the book? Were there personal or professional experiences that contributed to that decision?
Indeed, there was. When I was about 14, my father wrote, at that time it was called an ethical will, to his children, and he wrote it as part of an adult education class, and everybody in the class was writing letters to their children. And he came home from synagogue one day and he handed me this booklet that said ethical wills on the front, and I had no idea what they were. So I look at this booklet and he goes, "One of these is mine, guess which one?" And I went to the den and I started looking through this booklet and putting asterisks next to all of these different letters. And I, came back with like 4 asterisks. Okay, Dad, one of these, it's one of these. And I hadn't read through them because I didn't care about anyone else's letter. I wanted to see what it was that my dad had written. And so he looks at this, he said, it's this one. You did that rather quickly. And I'm like, okay. And then I remember going back into the den and reading that letter. And I read it over and over again. And I just cried. I cried and I cried. And why? Because my dad was this, very well-respected rabbi. And there was this sense around him, at least in those days and ages, it was a sense that here was this being who was close to perfect. At least that's how I was seeing him as a teenager, but that's how the community in my eyes seemed to, they would always come up, your father's this, your father's great, your father's amazing, and I'm just like, wow, okay. And in this letter, he shared some of his weaknesses. And I was like, wow, my dad knows he's human. He knows he's human. And that to me was just amazing. And how he spoke about each and every one of us in this rather shortish letter to communicate who he was. And I probably could tell you sort of who he was without him putting his words on the page. And yet at the same time, I probably wouldn't say it in the same way he did. And it was very profound. And because he hates the phone, I have taken this letter with me and read it and reread it over the years. And when I feel yucky, I pull it out and I read it again. And I hear his voice and I feel his presence.